First segment I did this morning now has a remarkable update because not only has Rick Wilson responded, but Frank Luntz, the famous pollster, linked to a story proving it's actually the Democrats who are the dumb ones. But some of you may not have seen that, so I'll try and go quickly through the context. Then I'll show you Rick Wilson's response and the evidence showing it's actually Democrats that don't know where countries are. So if you're going to go around making fun of a voter bloc, maybe you should check the data first. Because now not only do you look like snooty elitists, you look like stupid, snooty elitists. So here's the quick context. Daily Caller reports it took this CNN panel just 80 seconds to show what they really think of Trump voters. They say CNN anchor Don Lemon, Rick Wilson, and New York Times op-ed writer Wajahat Ali, who is also a CNN contributor, rolled out nearly every possible stereotype about Republican voters in a segment that aired Saturday night, but didn't really catch the public's attention until Monday. Wilson got the party rolling by saying Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you had the letter U and a picture of an actual physical crane next to it, which sent Lemon into a hysterical fit of laughter. They were just getting started. You know what's funny? When I saw Don Lemon laughing at that joke that wasn't funny in any way, it reminded me of like Tweedledee and Tweedledum or like the Three Stooges, just like someone so dumb, they're laughing at just complete nonsense. It's like not funny. I was going to make a Big Bang Theory joke, but maybe some of you are fans of the Big Bang Theory. No, I'm going to do it. It reminds me of the people I know who watch the Big Bang Theory. Those aren't jokes. Sorry. Do you ever see those videos where it's like they remove the canned laughter from Friends in the Big Bang Theory? And then you're like, that's creepy, actually, because they're not saying anything funny. But for some reason, people are laughing. I didn't believe it. I was like, why is Don Lemon laughing? He's like laughing harder than he's ever laughed. You would think Rick Wilson was the Joker who had just done that special laughing gas on him because there's no reason to be laughing at what he said. And then I gotta say, I feel kind of bad for Wajahat Ali on this because he seems to be just kind of like awkwardly trying to fit in. I'm sorry, man. Grow a spine. If that were me, I'd be like, come on, man. We don't need to play these games. Anyway, Wilson went on to sneer the credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump. The ones that think that, and here he broke out into a Southern accent, Donald Trump's a smart one, and there are y'all elitists are dumb. Lemon laughed even harder, and Ali chimes in, you elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. At this point, Lemon was laughing so hard that he pulled out a handkerchief to wipe his tear-filled eyes. I wonder if the reason he was laughing was that he knew deep down it was actually them who are stupid. Here's my favorite thing. Check this out. This is from July 5th, 2017. The New York Times. If Americans can find North Korea on a map, they're more likely to prefer diplomacy. Why? We've seen this before. In fact, there was one viral article or whatever poll where they asked people on my understanding it was a borderless satellite image or map, find Iran. And some people, for some reason, put a dot in the middle of the ocean. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it was Don Lemon himself. Some people actually put a dot in the United States. Perhaps that one was Rick Wilson. But here's the funny thing. They say in this older New York Times article, just 36% got it right. Here are the countries they selected. Now, what's interesting about this is that when asked to find North Korea, at least in this poll, most people picked real countries, but you can actually see there are dots in the Indian Ocean. I don't know. Maybe that's an error. Someone put it in the Pacific Ocean. That seems very strange. And somebody thought Australia was North Korea. Heaven forbid those people are operating heavy machinery, but let's read on. We get down to the data points, the actual more important data. Which groups were most successful? Uh-oh. Don Lemon's gonna enjoy this one. Share correctly identifying North Korea on an unlabeled map of Asia. By gender. Men, 45% were able to accurately locate North Korea. Well, now we got some bigotry in the mix. Women, only 27. But here's the best part. By party, independents did the best at 39, Republicans second best at 37, and Democrats at 31%. Now, I, as a moderate independent voter, am absolutely proud to say that I fall into that bracket of people who know where North Korea is. 39%. We did the best. Thank you very much. But, of course, the real issue here was Don Lemon making fun of Trump supporters because he said Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if there was an actual crane next to the letter U. Okay, dude, don't quit your day job, man. Maybe hire someone to actually write for you. But unfortunately, as we can see here from the New York Times, not when it pertains to Ukraine. I get it. But we can see that Republicans actually scored better. Now, here's the thing. That other graph that was going around the map, it was fairly even. I think the Republicans did have a slight lead, but barely. In this 2017, New York Times story, we can see that Republicans tend to be more accurate than Democrats in identifying countries. Oof. Kind of funny then when you consider the context of Rick Wilson and these snooty elitists in their ivory tower boasting about how smart they are, but you're sitting back going like, dude, you guys are actually the dumb ones. Okay, now I can say this as the independent who did better than y'all Republicans too. But I gotta say, man, Rick Wilson tries framing it as like, it's fake outrage or whatever. Not from me. I criticize Trump for being a dick just as much as I'll criticize you, Rick Wilson, for being a dick. So you don't get a free pass on this one for being a dick and being stupid. This is my favorite part. I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating. Not only did you look like an elitist prick, you now look like a stupid one. But he responded. I'll read you what he said. He says, the fundamental underpinning of the fake outrage is simple. The MAGA world wants the freedom to attack, insult, demean, and abuse anyone who doesn't aggressively worship Donald Trump. I think it's fair to say that when I'll do this first. Let me stop. We did a poll about my audience and found that it's mostly libertarian and centrist types, but a decent percentage of Trump supporters. So I think many of you who watch probably do support the president. I think it's fair to say. And there's actually a very small portion of liberals and leftists, believe it or not. But it was mostly libertarian. It was like the biggest single block at like 30% of the people who watch would identify as like moderate libertarian, then centrist. Like I think it was like 15 to 17 were Trump supporters. So here's the best part. If you look at my videos, you'll find typically the thumbs up ratio is, like 99%. Even when I say bad things about the president, okay? Like I will criticize his foreign policy. I will criticize his behavior. People make jokes about how I often call him boorish, oafish, and crass and crude and all of these things. That's strange, Rick Wilson. Why is it that Trump supporters will sit back and listen to me say, here's what I don't like about the president, but why aren't they attacking me for not aggressively worshiping Donald Trump? Perhaps it's because you're a dick. You know what I mean? Look, when I do insults, when I say things, I'm not trying to get an emotional rise out of the left or Rick Wilson. He went on CNN and mocked and berated and insulted Trump supporters. Why would you do that? My biggest problem with people like him is, or are, whatever, Don Lemon, him, Wajahat, they don't actually care about really compromise and living together in America. This is a great country, man. This is a great planet. The world's fun. There's a lot of cool places around the world. I'm an American, so maybe in the future there will be this great utopian globalist society. I have no idea. But for now, as an American, I want to make sure I do right by myself, my friends, my family, my community. And that means when there are people who disagree with me, I respect their humanity. I respect their life experience and all the conversation with them about it. But you don't do that. So you then try and pretend it's because you don't aggressively worship the president. Not true at all. Why is it that there's the politically homeless, intellectual dark web types who have no problem insulting, berating, or belittling the president, yet for some reason they still have respect from Trump supporters? Not every single one of them, mind you, but many of them. Perhaps it's because when they do criticize the president or say something about him, they're doing it honestly. They're having a real conversation about their feelings and thoughts, and they respect the other side. It's that simple. You can insult the president so long as you're willing to listen and truly try and understand the other side of that argument. Hence, the intellectual dark web has a lot of popularity, especially, it's mostly like moderate and centrist types. But I think a lot of people in this country, and I think it's fair to say too, even among Trump supporters, they know Trump is kind of a mean dude, right? But there's a difference between, there's a level of acceptability that people have. For me, I draw the line at a lot of what Trump says. But for the most part, it's foreign policy, it's cultural issues related to religion, life and choice and things like that. But I try to understand the people who I disagree with. Because how am I supposed to convince them I have ideas that are worth listening to if I go on TV and treat them like morons, which they're not? It was actually you. It's actually the Democrats that couldn't find North Korea. I think it's fair to point out there was another graph, again, I'll say it, showing it was fairly even. I know I'm selectively highlighting this to make a point. Don't come out and act like you're better than everyone. You know why? Because pencils heavy racers, man. None of us are perfect. And I think Rick Wilson, Don Lemon, and Wajid Ali would be wise to learn that lesson. That when you come out acting like you're the best and the baddest, and then you trip and fall and you go face first in the mud, it's even more satisfying to watch. Let me tell you something. If someone came out and they were very nice and respectful, and they tripped and fell in the mud, everybody would be like, "Oh man, that dude's so nice to everybody." And they'd help you up. And they'd be like, "You all right?" They'd give you a handkerchief. But when you're this mean, snooty, arrogant elitist and you fall in the mud, everyone laughs. It's called comeuppance. It's called karma. Wajid Ali complaining that Trump tweeted out the story. I'm sorry. You did it. Not Trump. Trump's highlighting a public CNN video, and now he's like, "My family is scared for my safety." Aw, poor baby. If you want to be a bad person and be mean, and then something happens, karma. I mean, nothing really happened. The president tweeted about you. Congratulations. I'd be stoked if the president tweeted about me. But I'm sorry. You did this. So anyway, I'll wrap it up. I just thought it was funny when they tweeted this out. Like, could you imagine just how, like, man, watching stupid people laugh about how smart they are, and I sit back like, man, that's kind of sad. If only they could self-reflect, they might actually win 2020. But they can't. So there it is. Stick around. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all there.